Hey guys, storyteller BJ Foltz here. Well, this is chapter 5 of the story, and in terms of writing, I'm actually getting really close to the finish of it. Sorry that there's not a lot to look at in here. I've commissioned a poster though, so that'll be done when it's done. Make things a bit more interesting. Really should have done that when I had income though. But you know what they say, the best time to plant a tree is yesterday, the second best time is right now. Anyway, Sleepwalkers of Night Realm. Written in red by storyteller BJ Foltz. Chapter 5. I take candy from a stranger. So, there we were, the two of us walking through an empty prison and feeling on high alert. I kept a tight grip on the bat, trying not to think of, well, what just happened. This got my heart thumping like a jackhammer, so I began taking heavier breaths to try and calm down. Calm down, Peter, Wendy said, snapping me back to reality. The strange reality I now took part in. Sorry, I said. It's just, It's okay. You've got a bit of a shock, she nodded. I let out a long, heavy sigh. No mumbling, so as it stood, didn't seem like there were any sleepwalkers. Wendy then cleared her throat. How about we try talking instead? You know, to keep your mind off things? Okay. What do you want to talk about? I don't know. Anything, Wendy said. What's your favorite color? Blue. What's your favorite food? Steak. Where'd you grow up? I sighed as I suddenly realized something very, very important about this conversation. Look, Wendy, you're nice and all. I think you're good at your job, but things are chaotic right now, and my last relationship ended badly. I am so not in the market right now. Market? Wendy shouted indignantly. What do you take me for? Some desperate girl with a crush? Considering our current situation, I murmured. Well, what does that make you then? Some idiot boy playing at being a hero? Wendy snapped, stamping her foot. What's this? The chance to turn your life around? Oh, sure. Just because I'm an inmate means I'm desperate, I shouted, wheeling around and hoping she wouldn't realize how close to the mark she was. Sounds like I struck a nerve, Wendy said smugly as she adjusted her glasses. I didn't really realize it, but every time she adjusted her glasses, it was with that smug look, like her own little victory lap. When she did that before, it didn't really bother me, but now I had the strong urge to punch her. And I did. I punched her right in the arm. She recoiled at the blow, grabbing at her arm as she hit the wall and slowly slid down. I panted at the sudden adrenaline rush, but when she stood up and looked at me with teary eyes, it immediately evaporated. What did I just do? I didn't see the person from a few seconds ago who was trying to get some shots in. This was a little girl, just like my sister when she gave me my bike. Wendy didn't give me the chance. She ran right past me, making sure to stomp my foot in the process. Wendy, Shut up! Was all she shot back. I was left in the dust, and all I could do was stand back. There was a burning sensation in my chest, and I blinked, feeling tears well up in shame. The way she looked at me was still visible, like it burned itself into my eyeballs. I just stared at the hallway as she disappeared. Why did I hit her like that? What if she was trying to tug just to get a little comfort? She was a psychiatrist, so this was probably a bigger blow to her than to me. Immaturity can set in during this time, said a voice. I almost jumped out of my skin as I looked around, trying to find the source. I didn't find anyone anywhere, just me in this dark and otherwise empty part of the prison complex. Who's there? Right, sorry. I forgot your kind tends to trust what they can see more, said the voice again. Without so much as a warning, as if she had always been there, a woman appeared right in front of me. She wore a red pantsuit, black heels, had honey blonde hair with black streaks in it, and styled in a messy bob cut. Her left eye was covered by a patch with a flaming skull embroidered on it, leaving her right eye visible, eerie and yellow, with violet eyeshadow decorating it. She had a cigarette in her mouth, held by a long holder, and had a silver skull brooch on her right breast of her jacket. What immediately grabbed my attention, though? This was an adult woman, towering over my 10-year-old self. Stay back, freak! I shouted, raising my bat. I've got a home run hit, and I've brained plenty of your buddies! The woman snickered, amused. Less than a day and you're already so prepared. Don't worry, Peter, I'm not one of those dreamers. What? I asked, shocked that this lady seemed awake. But another question presented itself. Wait, you know who I am? It comes with the territory. She nodded, taking a drag almost lazily. Well, who are you then? I asked. I've always been partial to Bella, so let's go with that, she said. On this lovely bella nota. It fits. It's poetic. So, I'll go with that. The way she talked, it made no sense. I mean, not like the Sleepwalkers. It made sense, but didn't seem like they're rambling. It was just weird. Makes sense, or I'm gonna bash your head in, Sleepwalker or not, I said, raising my bat again. She pinched my cheek like my Aunt Clara, the bane of my young life. Aren't you just the perfect little gentleman? And Sleepwalkers? That's a good name. Wish I thought of that. Don't do that, I shouted, pulling away. Who? What are you, and what are you doing here? First one, Bella, and you don't want to know how many answers there are to that question. Bella smiled. Second one, I came to tell you some things about what's going on, where this place is, why 70% of people disappeared, 15% becoming what you call sleepwalkers, and the last 15 becoming children, why you can't remember your last names, profanities are beyond your use, and have holes in your long-term memories. But another time, I'm just giving you this for now. She tossed me a bright blue sack with a red ribbon and a wide white smile emblazoned on it, inside of a red burst pattern. I fumbled but caught, hearing a rattling inside of it. I undid the red ribbon and found it was full of square bits of chocolate. Wait, what? I asked flatly. All that cryptic crud for chocolate? It's not any chocolate. It's something that could even your odds against the Sleepwalkers. You can bash them as much as you want, but they won't stay down. As you discovered, Bella said. But what am I supposed to do with... Read the instructions! You're old enough to read, right? Just do better than the warden guy. Doodles! Bella said. With that, she vanished just as suddenly as she appeared. What is... I asked, rattling the bag of chocolate. I turned it over and saw something on the back. It looked like nutrition facts on any other food, but these weren't the same. Thank you for purchasing Sweet Dreams chocolate, the way to even your odds in any reality. I read, to use just in jest, part of your passions or identity may be the main source of your change, just be prepared. Warning, side effects may include diarrhea, projectile vomiting, momentary paralysis, bedwetting, physical attraction to ostriches, phenomenal magical powers, and spontaneous combustion. Or does it? Maybe I'm just thinking of something else. That happens sometimes. Just take my word that it'll help. I stared at the sack before saying, I should throw this in the garbage. Mentally, I'd already tossed it into the nearest wastebasket. But, call it curiosity, but I wanted to know how this would even our odds. It was probably the dumbest thing I'd ever done in my life, and believe me, that's a high bar, but I picked up one of the squares. It didn't look any different from any other chocolate I'd seen. I sure hope I know what I'm doing, I said, popping it into my mouth and swallowing. The minute I gulped it down, I yelled in pain. It suddenly felt like someone took an axe to my head. I keeled over, grabbing at my head and hoping that would do something to stop it. It didn't, but something familiar rang through it. Bella's voice. Well, that was faster than expected. Congratulations, you've taken your magical power, your dream piece, the voice said, amused. But good on you, leap of faith and all. In just this, and you'll find yourself a bit less fragile. You and the warden, you were the two strongest presences I felt here. So I came to each of you. He's the royal flush, but you're the wild card. When you call upon your new powers, you might not get exactly what you need, but I think you'll be fine. With a fiery heart, watery spade, earthy club, and windy diamond, I hope you'll get through this. With that, the pain briefly intensified before fading. I shook, covered in a cold sweat, and slowly got to my feet. New information was filling my head already. What I had now, what to do with it, and even what to call it. Wild card, I said, breathing deeply. Suddenly there was a scream down the hallway. Almost as if I had been on the floor in agonizing pain, I bolted in its direction, bat resting on my shoulders. I turned a corner and brandished my bat, finding Wendy on the ground, right across from another girl. This one looked about 8, had a brownish complexion, and short dark brown hair with a crimson streak in it. Her outfit was a white t-shirt that almost looked like a dress on her diminished frame. At least she wasn't one of the sleepwalkers, probably another one of the inmates. She was beaming at Wendy, who was flushed and looked annoyed. That's not funny, she hissed. Sorry, I can't help myself, the new girl giggled. I heard a scream, and this is what I find, I said flatly.
Well, if you weren't alone, I wouldn't have embarrassed you so much, the girl smiled. Hi, I'm Mia, but
She balled her hands into fists and gave me a scowl that looked more like a sour pout.
Don't let my size fool you. I'm the super tough boss of the ladies here. Wherever they are.
Right. Hi, Mia. I'm Peter. The girl I'm guessing you just startled is Wendy, I said, helping Wendy up.
Good to see I'm not the only one who isn't... Well, whatever happened to everyone else? Just wish I had the old bod.
Where have you been? I asked.
Solitary confinement. Something about being too much trouble, so one of the officers shoved me in a pad cell. Then, I don't know, something weird happened. Wound up like this.
Mia gestured to herself.
And, I don't know, Lucille seemed a bit out of it, murmuring weird stuff. But I kicked her down, swiped her keys, unlocked my cuffs, cuffed her, and ran like freedom's on its way. But then Lucille's coming after me, rambling about food, so what's a girl to do? Trip her, shoot her in the face with her own gun, and leave, that's what.
After concern about this girl explaining an apparent murder like it was something totally innocent, something else hit me. Wait, someone else is in here too?
Yeah, Lucille. She's always up in my business. Think she's a die... She likes the ladies. Personally, you know, nothing really to go on, Mia said.
I can only say, oh no.
What? Always seemed like a personal question,
Mia said, confused.
It's not that, Wendy said. See, for people who haven't turned into children...
I know she can talk, but can't she sing? Wendy and I seized up at that. Mia turned around and saw a woman wearing a guard's uniform fumbling around.
Lucille?
Mia asked, shocked.
But I shot you. Look, I'm sorry. I didn't want to come here. My parents were, and I had to be tough. Smells good,
Lucille said before lunging forward. Wendy grabbed Mia and pulled her away, whacking Lucille with her baton.
Back! Back! We've got to run, Peter. Come on!
She began running, leading Mia away. I stood there, though, as the sleepwalker regained herself. Not too long ago, I would have run right after them, terrified. But the fear that filled my heart since everything changed was now gone. I stood my ground and tightened my grip on my bat.
Peter?
Wendy stopped running and looked back at me.
What are you doing? You can't stop her.
Maybe not, I said as I readied my bat. My free hand began flashing with what looked like the suits and cards. Heart, spade, club, diamond, repeating in that order. But not if I got the luck of the draw. Lucille stopped and cocked her head to one side, confused. I swung my bat just as the suits stopped on hearts. A fireball burst from my bat like I hit a home run. It flew out and slammed right into the sleepwalker's face. She screamed in pain and began thrashing about, but I could tell it wasn't from the fire.
What was? Wendy shouted incredulously. How the heck did you do that? Mia asked.
Lucille thrashed around a bit before scowling at me. I gulped, realizing that this had hurt the sleepwalker, or rather, the thing that infested her. The sleepwalker opened her mouth inhumanly wide as a black gunk poured out from it. It looked like pure shadow, pierced only by a bright red light. The gunk spread across the guard's entire body until it completely covered her.
Oh boy,
I said, not expecting this. The woman was covered in a mass of writhing shell-like tendrils and red eyes. Around her mouth, a set of razor-sharp, pearly white teeth formed into a sinister smirk.
Fire's bad,
she said in a deep, echoing voice that was a far cry from the distant tones of the sleepwalker.
Well then, boy, you're up to bat. Show me what you've got. I like a meal with a bit of fight to it.
Stay back, I said, ushering Wendy and Mia behind me as I swung the bat in a circle. I got this. This thing that used to be a sleepwalker looked like a tough one. Don't threaten me with a good time, I smirked. She looked tough, but I wouldn't go out easily either. For the first time in a long while, I felt lucky. I kind of started this story almost entirely on impulse. I just had the idea of writing this out and just jumped headlong into it. I didn't really have much in the way of world or what would happen in it. So I just chat with a friend and she pitched the idea of them having these special abilities because she kind of saw it as a video game. I saw it as an equalizer, something that would give the characters their edge so they wouldn't be quite as helpless as one would expect in a story like this. turned out really well, and the abilities I wound up giving them are actually very unique, very interesting. I kind of credit My Hero Academia with that, because, no character just has super strength or super speed. It's all very different and non-conventional and kind of set up more like a video game party. So, I'll see you next time. With a fiery heart, watery spade, earthy club, and windy diamond, sold for $750 for the guy with the diamond eye patch and the monkey on his shoulder.